So in C++, we have a thing called namespaces, which, well, let's say we want to declare a function f in a library which we name n, right? So we can do namespace and then function f. And so if we want to access the function, we can just use the namespace. So it's a way to avoid name conflicts, because well, if we just name it f and we have another f, let's say f is like a generic function name, it's not gonna work, right? And in C, what you would probably do is just prefix the function name with the name of the library, which I guess in this case is n and underscore. There's no rule, but this is usually how it is done. So why do we even bother, right? Instead of just prefixing the function name to avoid naming conflicts. Well, if we have multiple functions, if we want to rename the namespace, well, we can just change it, right? Whereas if you want to rename it here, then you'll need to actually make sure that you are renaming the correct things, right? Which can be kind of a pain. Or you can just refer to it with a different name. Right? I think that's n1 equals n, and then it's just a different name to refer to the same thing. And the advantage of having namespaces is that you don't actually need to use the namespace every time if you use using namespace something, right? So usually if you have a library and let's say string f1, if we want to use the functions, the library functions, well, we need to type the whole thing. But with namespaces, what you can do is, if you have a lot of functions that you want to call with this namespace, instead of doing string f or something, what we can do is using namespace string, and then we can access the functions. And you probably shouldn't just put using out there. You should scope it so that when we exit from the scope, it's not gonna conflict with other functions named f1, right? If we try f1 here, it's not found because the using only applies in the scope, right? So you need to use that. And so with this, we can avoid long function names.